You mentioned that a victim's statement is being taken. He has a right to be recorded by video and he has a right to be mirrored. But we've seen instances that we know one or two people where when he goes to police station, they beat them. They do so many. I mean, you've heard of instances where some people won't say that, oh, the person was shot in the leg or shot so that they can confess. Does the police have the right? I mean, what I'm talking about is torture. Do they have the right to torture someone that reported you that you did something? Do they have the right to torture you? And for someone who has expressed it, what should they do? Should they talk back to the police when they're being tortured, or what do they do? What can they?
Well, the question is in two firsts. Does the police have the right to torture a suspect or an alleged defendant? Actually, the police, there's nothing in the Police Act or any law backing up law enforcement agents to torture citizens of the country. It is a very bad attitude. However, um, Nigeria has found itself in so many dispensations, from unitary system to federal system to military system. So I'm sure from there we lost empathy for human life. We lost sympathy for human life. So that when someone is with a gun and is a police, it can actually do and undo, and there is no one to be questioning to other. However, I think from my little time of going to the police, only when someone has committed a capital offense, that is, I'm talking of reality now. It is only when a suspect has committed a capital offense, that is when most of the time they're actually beaten at the police station. They are beaten at the police station, nothing more. And that in itself is very wrong, because once confession is gotten involuntarily, once a confession is not direct and positive, once a confession is gotten through threats, intimidation, inducement, then such confessional statement can be attacked in the court of law. That is what will lead to what we call trial within trial in criminal trial before the court. So as a result of this, it is actually very wrong. Although we do see a lot of IPUs in court, they say, I will only caution them and the person confessed to the crime. I can also add to that, when some defendants are actually not educated or semi-educated, maybe a secondary school dropout, you have seen instances of IPUs writing statements for accused persons or defendants at the police station, saying that the defendant committed the crime, and they will tell the defendant to sign without even reading it to him. All these practices are barbaric. They are totally they are totally unreasonable altogether. The police do not have the right to torture. And if a defendant is being tortured, actually, the person should also use wisdom. Yoruba people will say, "Ọgbọ́n náà lọmọdé ṣe." If they say they are going to kill you and they are about killing you and you don't want to die yet, just ensure that is you cooperate too. But when you get a lawyer, whether from the state or from voluntary organizations like SATA Legal, ensure that's one of the first thing you tell them, that, see, I know when I signed that I committed this offense, so, but actually I never did the offense. Let me give you a first-hand one that I remember very well. I was on the case of the guy. The guy just left secondary school and he wanted to relocate to Lagos. In fact, he did not even have much money on E. He's from Ubumosho. I'm sure he'll be listening to this show too. And he left Ubumosho after doing some punk work so that he would go to Lagos. So he didn't get a straight bus going to Lagos that evening. As a result of that, he took all the solid to Ibadan. On Ibadan, when he dropped at Pojo, he called one of his friends. That one says he's living at Yemetu. And I said, all right, come to Yemetu. Let me stay over at Yemetu. Then in the morning when we're going out, I will drop you at Iwurut. Then you take a bus or cab to Lagos. The friend was happy. So he went to school at his friend's house at Yemetu. Allah done. So in the morning, well, that was around 5 o'clock or 5:30 thereabouts. The friend said he had some things to do. And as a result, he said, let me take you to, instead of taking you to Iwurut, let me take you to Challenge. So they left Yemetu and they were moving towards UCH on the friend's bike. When they got to after UCH or thereabout, some policemen stopped them and they decided to check them. Now, notice the guy from Obomosho was sitting at the back, the friend was riding the bike. When they decided to check them, like search them, the friend that housed the boy from Obomosho had a gun with him. And they were both arrested and taken to Yemetu Police Station. At Yemetu Police Station, the boy with the gun was bailed, while the other guy was charged to court. Because the real culprit was bailed, there was no formal charge against the boy. So they added his name to the names of some cult members from the Polytechnic of Ibadan for cultism and also for armed robbery. So at the magistrate court level, most of the people he was charged with got bail. He didn't get bail. They decided to also add his name also to another armed robbery case when the legal advice came out, because at the lower court they charged them with armed robbery with some other cult boys. So the other like 8 of them, they were given iPod bail. He could not access iPod bail, so he was now formally charged with one of them. Look at this story. The guy was looking for a brighter future. He came to Ibadan, became a victim in Ibadan. In fact, he was even a pastor's child. When he got to Ibadan, they also had a lawyer that, they said they paid the lawyer money. I don't know how true. The lawyer, something happened to the lawyer. The lawyer was sick because I happened to know the lawyer. So the lawyer did not even file anything, although he collected money. So until one day, I just strode into the court, and that was sometimes 2016, and I saw the guy. I was like, I had a lot of free times in my hands, so I was like, let us take up this case now for this guy. What were you charged with? So in the course of interviewing him, I asked for the numbers of his family, and I told him that from the proof of evidence I saw, his confessional statements wrote that he actually was an armed robber. He looked at me and said he doesn't expect me to believe him. That should he tell me the truth? I said, call me the truth. I said, see, if they say I've done anything, I know I had not done anything. But everything you read with the little education I have will show that yes, I've done so many wrong things. I said, okay, enlighten me. What is it that happened? He now started the story. There is none of the things I've said that was actually inside the confessional statement. The confessional statement was just purely about cultism. This was a guy that has not even seen the 4 walls of a polytechnic or a university. He does not even have a matric number. He has not been to the polytechnic, but he does not even know where it is. And he said no. And I saw where he said he has not seen a gun in his life. That it was when the friend was, we never knew that the friend was already an armed robber. And they said the friend never slept up to 24 hours at the police station, that he was taken in his stead. The prosecution could not prove their case, and as a result, his case was struck out. But he has spent nothing less than 5 years, 5 youthful years behind bars, looking behind bar, totally distraught and traumatic experiences. 5 years at awaiting trial, lumped up with a lot of ardent criminals. I did the case actually pro bono, just like we do at SATA, and the parents could not believe that I could have done that because they don't know me, I don't know him, and they were like, how have just come to that court, sit down and just look at, of all the criminal cases that day, I only just picked actually one, and it was his own I picked. And I ensured that I pursued it to a logical conclusion. They were just like, this must be God answering prayers. Well, me, I was just doing my job because it was just fun to me. Although it took a lot of time, at least I spent close to 8 months to a year before we got him released, but actually he was released. I started to say this, to see. He told me that he agreed to signing the confessional statement. This is where I'm going. At the dancers, when he said his leg was tied up and his body was facing the ground, and they shot on the floor. And all he could see was white. And they now asked him, are you a cult member? He said, all he was just saying, yes, don't kill me. Yes, everything they were saying, yes, don't kill me. He said this is after several days of being beaten by the police. He said, he said he can't operate a gun, but every question they were asking him, he was just at on saying yes. Yes, just don't kill me. My parent does not know that. Yeah, the parents actually, when they got to know, I think I spoke with the father. The father said his son can't even commit a crime. He can't even kill a chicken. Now all he just wanted was he just wanted to go where he work so hard. That day he left, he did some bricklaying jobs, labor work for him to travel to Lagos and meet a relation. That since then, they've not seen him again, and there's nothing they can do. They are aged. And being the first son and stuff, there's nothing they can do. They prayed for me any which way. But what I've said is that he knew he was going to die in detention. He said he didn't even know how he didn't get blind because he saw that they shot whether at the floor or something, and all he could see was white because it was gone. And everything he was saying when he came back was, yes. Are you a cult member? Yes. Are you a gang? Are you a part of the gang of robbers? He said, yes. Is your step saying yes? Where should I sign and stuff? So when he told me this story, I told him, if this matter goes to trial, they're going to be doing trial with a trial because acts of torture does not bring about the best confessional statement. It is against the law. A confessional statement must first be voluntary, it must be direct, and it must also be positive after the alleged accused has been cautioned.